everyone, and welcome to the Underground Cave. My name is Gel Tip, and this is Mini Painting with Gel Tip. Welcome to the final installment of the Paint-Alongs, Thursday Night Paint-Alongs for 2023. We'll resume next year at the same time, so probably February. If I can manage to get a couple streams in January, maybe we'll start it in January. But for now, this is the last one, and I want to feature a artist, a 3D sculptor, and a game designer. So if you can see over here, this is a BugBear rat from Kawna Minis. So she is on YouTube, she is on Twitch, or excuse me, she is on Twitch and she is on Instagram, and you can also go to her page. That link will be rolling around at some point. You can also go to my Discord and find the link there in the Thursday Night Paint-Alongs, as well as where you can buy this miniature from a local site that 3D prints them, or you have to get the STL if you have a 3D printer or know somebody that 3D prints. You can also get this miniature over here that we're going to be starting for the month of November. And I thought it was a nice way to end the stream, or excuse me, the Thursday Night Paint-Alongs for this year, and a nice leeway for next year, as I want to try to involve more local 3D sculptors and painting their stuff online. And hopefully you'll pick them up as well and paint along with us. So it's been a year. We got what? We got a green dragonborn done this year. We got a dark elf priestess done this year. A dark dwarf, a Viking. We did a couple statues throughout the year, and last month we did a vampire for the Halloween, which was really cool. So thank you to all the people that painted along, and thank you to all the miniature companies that had miniatures for me to show off and print. And November will be no different. We're doing Kawna Minis. So that's my first announcement. My second announcement is I did update the schedule. We are going to go all the way through November. There is a Thursday that we won't be doing a paint along. That's the holiday for Thanksgiving here in America. So that is the 23rd, I believe, of November. So we'll have that stream off, but we're going to do that paint along on that Tuesday, the 21st. So check the schedule down below where it says about. You can check out the schedule for November, and then we'll be off in December. I might do I might do some dual streams in December. We'll have to see how it goes, but no normal streams will be done in December for the holiday season, for me to kind of regroup, get all my supplies back together, and hopefully we can change up the stream just a little bit. So, and gives me a chance to paint some stuff that I need to paint for other folks. So, I will be teaching at Captain Con. Captain Con is a convention out in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's just south of me. And if you're in the New England area and you are going to Captain Con, you can, get some class time with me and another awesome streamer, Muse's Touch. She'll be teaching there as well. So go over to CaptainCon.com, look at what it's all about. If it's a convention you think you might want to be at, then take some classes or play games or see all the neat vendors out there. Get your ticket now, and then hope to see you February 2nd to the 4th, that weekend, February 2nd. So it comes quick. You only have a few months left. Anyway, those are the rest of my announcements. So if you're ready and you have your paints and you have your brushes and you have some rat mini that you want to paint, then let's just paint. Oh, look at that. Look who our unofficial sponsor is. That's right. Well, let's get that to be a little bit more centered on there. There we go. Kawna Minis. This is the folks that made the miniature that I had 3D printed. There he is in all of his glory. And so they are on Instagram, they are on Twitch. So look for Kawna Minis. They always stream about 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so you can check them out. They also make the Adventure Cat. So if you're in the market for cats and you like a lot of cat miniatures, then Kawna Minis is the place to go. I will leave this up there so that you can give that a quick scan in case that brings you to where you have to go. I don't know if it's in focus, but there you go. So I got to meet these folks at Reapercon. Awesome people. She's a fantastic artist. And I just thought I would do something a little bit larger and something a little bit different. So, as you know, Reaper has what's called the Mouselings. So this would be a nice villain or a hulky type for the Mouselings. So last week, as I explained before, I had COVID, and I think I mixed up the miniatures. I had a cat barbarian on there that I wasn't really going to paint, so I made the color palette according to the cat barbarian, but it's also going to work for what we want to do here on this, so I kept the palette the same. So we'll just quickly go over that. I don't know if I use all these colors, but we'll find a place for it. Wilderness Green from Reaper 09411 is one of those colors. It's just a pretty dark green. Then we have a deep red. 09002 deep red, and it's a very dark red. So that'll be nice. For Monument Hobbies, we have yellow ochre. From Citadel, we have McCrag Blue. So I have all the 3 primary colors, red, yellow, blue. I went with a little bit of green. Burnt Sienna is from Monument Hobbies. That's my little orange color. So I'm just trying to get a bunch of stuff in here. We got Monument Hobbies Mahogany, but any mahogany will do. It's just a dark reddish brown. Then we have a dark silver for Monument Hobbies. So it's just a dark silver, dark metallic. And to lighten that up, we have polished silver from Reaper 09054. It's just a brighter silver than the darker one. Excuse me. And then we'll wow. We'll highlight everything with some ivory. So that's for Monument Hobbies. And then, of course, our standbys for black and white. These are the solid black and solid white from Reaper. It's 09478 for the white and 09479 for the black. So those are our 11 colors that we're going to try to use on this gentleman or female. I think it's a gentleman, just the way it's physically put. So, yeah. So I'm thinking we're going to do a nice white rat. We're going to do it very dirty. So we don't want it too white. We just want the white to be the highlights. So we're going to stay more towards the dirty ivory color in the recesses. We don't want them tan. I don't want to do it tan. I want it to be white, but I want it to be very grimy or dirty white. It will also work in with the wooden armor pieces on his wrist and club. And then we'll get some color in some other places. I'm thinking the tail and the snout. We're going to use some deep red and some ivories to kind of bring that pinkiness in there. And then we'll just figure out what other colors to put in there. So let's get started. Now, before we begin, we have to get some sort of acrylic layer on here So I'm not going to go with a black layer. I don't want the black layer. I want to go sort of with a silver color. Or not a silver color, a gray color, and I want it to be a warm gray color. So you can mix black and ivory so that you get that kind of warm gray. You don't want a big warm gray. You still want it to be sort of dark so we can get all those recesses. So to cheat a little bit here and to save some time, I'm going to use Monument Hobbies Dark Warm Gray. This is a very warm. That's what I want. I want the warm colors. You can use Mountain Stone from Reaper 09433 if you have Mountain Stone, but that's kind of what you're looking for. You don't want like a neutral gray. You don't want a cool blue gray. You want something that's kind of like on the brownish side, or the kind of the warm side. So, you know, this is more of the ivory, the yellowy gray. So that's what we're going to do here. And I'm not going to worry too much about thinning it down. I mean, I will thin it down, but I'm not going to put it on a wet palette. And we just got to get a brush, a nice big brush. Where is my big brushes? I'll use this guy, I guess. I'll wet him down. And we'll get a little bit of, I'm going to use medium. I was going to use, actually, where's my water? I'm going to use my water instead. I made a dropper bottle of water. So you can get 5 drops in there. Mix it all up. I did a dropper bottle of just water because I kind of wanted to count droplets when I'm doing washes and glazes. But you can do it with the brush as well. I'm just going to do the whole thing as my acrylic layer, just like we always do. That's all what we always do. We just put some acrylic layer down, and the gray since most of it's going to be ivory and white, gray seems the way to go for the color. And the gray is going to actually bring out all of the truer colors. It's not going to brighten anything up. It's not going to darken anything down. And I'm not really going to go in any, like, I'm not going to worry about this is going to be white, this is going to be dark. I'm just going all over the miniature. We're just going to get this nice acrylic layer all over this piece. This kind of printed out well too. So if you have a 3D printer and you grab this STL from Kawna Minis, it is pre-supported, and it came out very well. I didn't have to do anything other than stick it in Chitubox, slice it, and print it. The other one that this comes with, which is really oversized, it makes it a nice giant size. I didn't have luck printing that one out, but I may not have sported it the way I was supposed to. So I will, I was going to do a nice big one, but I think this is going to be fine the way it is. So I like this miniature only because it's got a lot of texture. It's a very nice, friendly, beginner painter type model. It's got wood, it's got rope, it's got fur, it's got smooth surfaces. So you can do a lot with pieces like this. And it does have some detail in the miniature that you don't have to worry too much if you don't want to do a lot with it. But one thing I was going to do is show you how to do some short hairs, so it looks like you don't have just a smooth surface on your rat, but you can actually make it look like it's got these little tiny furs on it. Something I need to practice on. Adding some character to miniatures is the one thing that I have to practice, because that's what I'm teaching a class on. And as soon as we get done with this acrylic layer, I'll get some music on. So you can just listen to whatever music you have. You can use a little bit of the burnt sienna to kind of make some rust on some of this to make it look like old armor. So as I'm painting, as I'm doing all of the acrylic layer for everything, I'm just trying to figure out colors that I want to paint. And I do have to hand it to Kawna Minis. They did put out a nice model. This is a very nice model. I like it. Thank you for that lurk, Demon Speed. Hopefully you are painting and hobbying. I don't know if it's only Mondays that you paint and hobby, but those of you that are watching and have not followed Demon Speed, now is your chance, because we're going to have to let this acrylic layer dry. So now would be the chance to go and start following and getting your tickets for Captain Con and figuring out how you're going to paint your BugBear rat. It's going to be like mine. There we go. We're just looking around. I got this. I love this wooden club. I can do a lot with this wooden club. We'll get this to look like wood. Love this little vein that's going on in there. So, yep. In fact, if you ever wanted to teach folks how to paint miniatures, this is probably one of the pieces I would use because it's got everything there. I think I've got everything. Not seeing that I missed anything. Look on stream really quick to make sure. So I got this nice warm gray rat. All right. All right. Rinse out that brush. I'll give Demon Speed a shout out, and then we'll find some music to play while we're waiting. There we go. Go give Demon Speed a quick follow, because you're never going to know when he streams unless you're following him. And then you can come right back here, and we got to wait for this guy to dry anyway. So, and I did thin out the gray a little bit, so it hopefully will dry quicker. Let's find out. I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking he's a good old country boy, but we're gonna make it epic. Today will be epic music. Make sure I don't blow out people's ears. Bring this down. Yep, that's a little loud in my ear. I only reduce the music in my ears so I don't yell over the music. Then I'm yelling at you, and I don't want that to be a thing. All right. we go. All right. Of course, as it dries, you'll find some spots that need a little bit more care. Now, I put this on a large base, but it may get in my way to do a lot of this stuff. So one of these streams, I'll probably have to take them off the base to get at certain things. But I think what we want to do is kind of get him settled in first. So I'm trying to think how I want to create this. As far as lighting goes, it's like, I would say the lighting probably in this type of vicinity. I can get a nice light going here, over here, all the way around. So I should be able to get most of that figure in there. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to go with that. Which means that I think the center of the light would probably be right here on his nose. So if I do that, I should be able to get a nice 3D dynamic. So this is light, and then right in here under his chin will be the medium colors, and then we'll keep this darker in the folds. I think that's the best way to do that. Look at that tail. Look at that monstrous tail. Let's mix some paints while we're doing that. I think what I want to do is get the fur colors and the fur colors and the pink colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some deep red on here. I'm going to put all the dark colors on the top. So this is my deep red. We have some black here. We'll get some black out there. Oh boy. What's going on with my black? Only thing that came out was medium. I don't think I have any black to salvage that. Let me grab a little bit of black here from Monument Hobbies just to salvage some of that. There we go. We'll get some more of this solid black. There we go. And we'll mix that up because that medium is just kind of out there. You need to get it all the way in there. Just using the back of my brush. Carefully you don't poke the wet palette. Alright, that's that dark color, and then we'll do some mahogany. Run out of mahogany, which is a good sign. Finally running out of some miniature paints. And the dark silver, right? Those are my dark colors. I don't know if we're using all of these colors today. We're going to try. This is my dark silver. You notice I don't need a lot of stuff. Now I'm going to take my light colors. So here's my, I'm going to put them down here. I got the polished silver. I'll put under the dark silver. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Need the pokey tool. See if we can get some polished silver out. Oh yeah, almost. Almost. Try it again. I think I need a longer pin is what I need. Boo! Almost lost it. Alright, there we go. We'll put the white, actually, yeah, I'm going to put the white under the black. I'm going to take the ivory and put it under the deep red. And I'll take the yellow ochre and I'm going to actually put that under the mahogany. And there we go. There's 8 colors that we have. 2 shade tones and some color. And this way I can mix those up as I need to go. And look at that. He's almost dry. How nice is that? All right, but I want to kind of make this pinky a tail color. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this ivory. And I'm just going to put it up here. And it's probably going to be a 2-shot ivory to 1-shot deep red and see where that goes. So I will clean this off. Take some deep red, mix it in. All right. So this is the color that I'm going to start with. It's not going to be the final color, but at least this will give me my dark. And I'm just using my mixing brush to get rid of some of this pink. This is about as dark of the shadows as I want it to go, and we're going to keep bringing it up, and hopefully the camera won't wig out on my bright pink. So we'll do the tail pink and we'll bring that up almost to a washout. But we don't want it to go white. We want it to be like a very bright pink. So I'm just using the mixing brush to get rid of most of this paint. I will switch brushes when I need to, but I'm thinking the feet, the tail, the ears, and possibly the front of the nose will get this pinky tone. And like I said, I have this on a big base, so it might get in my way. Go. I'll try to stay on camera this time. I do have this little blue thing that I set my thing on here so that I can actually see where I am. All right, so as this dries, this will dry darker, but as you can see, the gray is going to kind of give it the true nature of this color, because gray is a neutral color. It's not gonna brighten or darken stuff down. I could use purple, that will, or I could use a brown, or I could use a dark green, and it would bring out all of this. Now don't do what I'm doing. That was a bad move. Always work and get your initial layer on first and let the other one dry. Because if you don't, you're going to end up pulling stuff and you're going to make splotches, you're going to make streaks, and we don't want to do that. So that was a bad move on my part. I will try to refrain from doing that stuff again. So you just want to get the initial layer on. You can always go back and repaint after it's dry, but the trick is to let things dry. I gotta make more of this, so that's 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. This seems to be drying on the palette, so. All right, we're gonna do the feet, I think. So we're just gonna do. Get these little pale feet, pink feet, fleshy feet. Do the same thing here. Make it look like he has shoes on. All right, we're gonna do the ears. There. Hey, Antifreeze, what's going on, my friend? We're doing all right. I'm getting much better than I was last week. Let me give you a quick shout out here. Oops. How did that not go? Oh, that's why. Oh my god, are you kidding me with this? I can't type now. There we go. Boom. Shout out a little Antifreeze. Alright, so I'm gonna do these ears. We are doing a giant rat. They call it a BugBear rat. It's from Kawna Minis, who I met at Reapercon. They do adventure cats. And it's just something a little different to try to promote local artists and 3D sculptors in the hobby that we don't really get to shout out. Everything gets commercialized with Reaper and Games Workshop and Nolzers, WizKids. So I thought, you know, it'd be fun. We give a little shout out to those people that do 3D sculpting. And I think we're going to do a little bit of the snout right here. And I'm going to go in just a little bit to the fur area because I will eventually paint over that with fur. But this way it makes it look like the fur is just not painted on, or the pink is just not painted on. but it looks like it's covering up some of this. We'll get it nice and blended. That's a neat sculpt. Yeah, I thought it was a neat sculpt. I actually, I got this from Kawna Minis, my miniature factory page, and it's supported. So I didn't have to do anything. I just put the support down, printed it out. So they did a great job supporting it and making it look pretty, pretty wild, pretty cool. It's as easy as it could possibly be for 3D printing it. So I absolutely, I love this sculpt, and it's got everything to it. It's got all the textures. It's got the skin. It's got the wood texture, the rope texture. It's got the, it's got armor pieces. I just like it. It's got cloth. And there's a lot of open space that if you want to do some nifty stuff, you can. Alright. I think that's all the pink that we're going to do. So I'm just going to go in and just do one more pass on that tail. Get this tail not to be so grainy. But yeah, it's a pretty big model. I'm not used to doing models this size, so it's a great practice for a great many things. So I mean, if you want to practice blending, you can practice glazing. You can do a lot of stuff with this piece. And who knows, maybe it will see some sort of gameplay. Skavens, Blood Bowl. Even be used in D&D. Or if I get into adventure cats, I won't. I could use it there. Maybe a diorama for the Reaper mouselings. Maybe one has gone rogue. One has gotten into the juice. Lots of possibilities. All right. Gotta make a little bit more of this. So that's 2 ivories, 1 deep red. That's all we're doing. 2 ivories, 1 deep red. And I'm gonna go in and get stuff on the ears again. Looks like there's a little bit of fur on the ears, so we'll take care of that when we get into the fur. But we want to get at least a lot of the pinky stuff in there. Do this one. And the only problem with 3D sculpts is that you can't always get in every nook and cranny. So you have to kind of pick your battles where you could see things the most. And we'll do a little bit of this mouth right here. There we go. There we go. That looks like some fun right there. All right. So for the body, we want it to be a nice warm gray to start off with and build it up. And I'm going to build it up to an ivory. So ivory is going to be my white for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take white and I'm going to take a little bit of black. So I want that gray that we kind of started with. So I'm going to take some black. I'm going to add in 2 ivories. That makes a pretty lighter gray than what I've got on there. And to warm it up, I'm going to do a little bit of yellow ochre. A little bit of yellow ochre. You still want it to be gray, but you want it to be sort of this yellowy type gray. And I'm just going to go in and change all of the skin and fur to be this mixture. And I may need to make more of that. So let's just see how this works out. Because you have ivory in that pink and you have ivory in this gray, it shouldn't really look out of place. And I'm sure that we just made a new color, or excuse me, we just made a color that you probably already have somewhere in your repertoire. And if that's the case, go ahead and use that color. Grab some more of this, and we'll get some more gray. Again, we want this nice dingy white, so it'll eventually just keep highlighting with ivory, but we want this color to kind of be where we want to make our shadow stand. So I'm going to make more of this. So that's a black. I'm going to be generous with this. So 2 whites, or excuse me, 2 ivories. And then we have to do some yellow ochre. Okay. Be careful around the eyes. Oh, I shouldn't say eyes. Be careful around the nose. And the ears. Just going right into that pink. Get under the chin, because that's all going to be fur. We got the nice metal. Oh, I don't even know if I put in the, I don't even know if I put the link into Kawna Minis website. Let me take care of that as soon as we're done with this gray, because this gray is going to need to dry a bit. So what this is going to do is it's going to give us that little darkness when we're starting to do our ivory, and when we start throwing in little hairs, it'll look like this is in the shadows. And if you get some on the ropes, don't worry too much. It will all work out in the end. Now, let's see. This is also part of him. Grab some of this hair and fingers. Now, I didn't do the hands pink, and I'm gonna leave those on the whiter side. There is a textural difference between the hands and then the fur around the wrists. So I feel like I can get away with making his hands white and not pink like the feet. But if you want to do hands to be pink, you're more than welcome to. I might have put a little too much yellow in this new batch, so I'm just going around fixing things up so it looks halfway uniform. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. So I think it's just that one hand and the legs. So I'll get this hand to be nice and gray. It's almost like he's got feathers coming out of it on his wrists. He must have been eating peacocks or something. All right. I gotta clean off the brush for a second. That's what he's looking like so far. Let's get his legs done. And he's got some fur around his tail. And I'm gonna be running out of this gray, I think. See if I can stretch it. See, when you put that fur on this pink right here, it changes the color texture a little bit for a nice transition. And it looks like this fur is covered up by a bandage or a wrap. All right. See if I can do this. Probably have to make a little bit more of this color. I'm trying to spread it and get it working, but don't think it's gonna work in my favor. Maybe it's all right. Maybe I did it. All right. So what happens is when you paint over, like right here where this hair is, I did it pink before, it doesn't look like the pink has been painted on. It looks like the hair is kind of coming through the pink, and that's what you want. All right. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of black. This time I'm going to do a 1-to-1 mixture of the ivory and the black, and a little bit of the yellow. I'm going to make a darker version of what I just used. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to kind of get into these areas here. Kind of the darker areas that is not going to get the light, right? So like if I'm looking around here, I'm going to see that under here is not going to get too much of the light. Looking around here, this inside of the leg is not going to get too much of the light. I'm not shading it. I'm just kind of sketching out stuff so that you can actually see the brightness versus the darkness. So pretty much when I want to light it up by his nose, I just look at it here, and I can see that the back half of this bicep is going to be darker, and kind of all of this is going to be a little bit darker. Okay, I'm not going super dark. I'm just trying to get a little bit of a feel, so like anything back here would get this like darker shade. You're still going to get this gray, it's just not going to be as bright. So I'm just kind of throwing this out there. And then we'll do the top of the tail right here. There we go. Probably under the arms here. All right. Remember, you're in control of where you want these highlights and darkness to be. And if I add if I add ivory to this mixture, I'll make that same color I had before. And so what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more ivory. And I'm just going to kind of hit where I want the highlight to be. So if I'm looking at here, I kind of want the highlight to be here on his face. Right here on the nose, there he's got a little patch of fur. Right on top of the head. Right here on the eyebrows. Something like this. And we have all of this chest fur right here. I'll just kind of make that flow. You have it up here. You have it right up here. And I'm not trying to paint all of it. I'm just trying to paint like all of those high level strands. Right here. Right here. And there's a reason I'm doing this. And that is because I need to know where my bright furs are going to be versus my medium furs. So like right here, all this is going to be lighted up. Right here is going to be lighted up. Right here. Maybe a little bit right here. Definitely right here. We might be able to coerce that side in a little bit. All right. Let's get a little bit thinner brush and work these hands in. So I'm just going to do pretty much all of the outer part of the hand. I'm not going to worry about the inner part of the hand right now. There we go. All right. So we've got that stuff going on, and you can see with all my little high streaks, I have all of the pieces here. So now, if I want to do this white, I can do in the bright areas with a bright ivory, and in the medium areas, I can do whatever color I just highlighted everything with, and then I can go progressively darker. So to show you how that works, I'm going to take some of this ivory, and I'm not going to use black anymore. I got this ivory, and a little bit of the yellow ochre to it. Using a little bit of ivory. So it looks like 4 ivories, 1 yellow ochre. Let's see, let's do 5 ivories. It's looking a little yellow to me. Alright. And what you're going to want to do is take a lining brush or something that has a relatively sharp tip. When you go to my fox bite, my new fox bite brush, because it does have that little, it's brand new, so we'll have a sharp tip. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. There's the sharp tip. And I'm just going to use that kind of tip. See, I'm not using a lot. Oh, there you go. That's much better. I'm not using a lot of paint there. Just the tip of the brush. Gonna roll it on the wet paper towel, and then all you're gonna do is kind of flick. So you have to kind of decide how I want my fur to go. So let's say I want the fur to kind of go this way on his face. You would just kind of take your and just flick little lines. Just short little lines. You don't have to. And it starts to create this little texture on this little flat surface. And this light mixture, this medium light mixture, I should say, is going to go all over where I did this brightness. So like right here, I'll just kind of make these little, all it is this little hash marks, and it's fur, so it doesn't, you know, you want them to go in the same direction. That's pretty much all you want to do. But you don't have to be super precise. You don't want them stripes. You want them to be like here. This is his body. It's going into his chest, and I'm just kind of making. I'm not worried too much if it's stripy, because at some point it's going to look. Some of these hairs are going to be brighter than others. This is how you can make some fur on something that is smooth. We'll take some of this again. You're only using the tip of the brush. You're rolling it around to get a nice sharp point. And you're just going to go. So I went that way with that hair, so I'll go this way with this hair. And it's, you don't, jam the brush into, you just kind of hit in a very quick, fast motion. I'll do the head so you can see how the head goes. Just gonna start flicking the brush and just making these little lines. And you don't have to do them in any uniform fashion. Like if I want, I can have a hair this way. I know I already did stuff there, I'll do a hair that way. It's just to kind of, if you're dry brushing, that means you need to wet your brush, get your tip back. Now, if you have this shadow area, that's where we're going to take some of this black. And we're going to add in a little bit of this ivory color. I add too much black in. So give me a second. All right, so here's 3 different colors. So right here with this color here is a little bit darker shade. And I'm going to do the same thing, but down here. And it's going to be a little bit darker than up here. So like right here where the ear and the head covers up, I could make these little slash marks. They're not going to be as bright as what I did on the head. And that's how you keep your shading when you're doing little hairs. Although I've gotten to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more little hairs, because that's what rats kind of have, that little hair. We don't want them furry. And we're not going to do that whole thing. I just wanted to show you that stuff. And then back here on his back, maybe that gets the darker version. Hit the other side. And that's how you can add texture to flat surfaces. Alright, I'm going to take some of this ivory. And I'm going to take some of this pink mixture we did. I'm going to brighten it up just a little bit and go around the nose area. Right here. And come right into the hair of the face. And then to kind of bring that all together, just gonna do the tops of the ears here. Got a little inside here. A little inside here. There we go. All right. Time we got here, 10:28. All right. I think I'm gonna do the club. Show you how I do some wood pieces. So with the wood, you want to start with a very dark brown. So we're going to start with a mahogany, but I'm going to bring in black to that mahogany. So what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of black and a whole lot of mahogany. So I'm going to do a 2-to-1 mixture of mahogany and black. And we're going to add a little bit of water to that. And this is just going to be, I'm using the side of the brush, I'm just going to kind of get into that entire wood piece. And what that black is going to do is going to kind of help dig in some of those very deep grooves. And then when we get to the mahogany, we can actually use that to start off the outer part of the grooves. So. Be careful in the fingers, but remember you can always paint back over the fingers. We haven't done all of the white on the rat, so we still have a chance to clean up anything. But he's gonna be ready to go for any games you want until we come back to him next week. Because he'll have his club, he'll have his face, and I'm even going to get into the stump, the grain here. Just making sure I have everything painted. You need to have a good acrylic layer and a good smooth layer before you can continue on. And that nice dark rich club will bring out that white in his hand when we get it when we start working it out. And we'll do this, I'll do this wood too. So what is that? 1 black, 2 mahoganies. And we'll get this to be nice and a wood grain. So at some point it turns into fir. So I think that's where my wood ends. And we have to get underneath. So that's the reason why we do the black too, is because anything that we're not going to touch will have that nice dark shadowed area. All right, here we go. I don't think we're gonna do any bands. And I'm not gonna do any. Well, I could do these, but this is gonna be a whole different brown. But this is where the strap is that holds the armor on. So I'll do these in mahogany, the mahogany black, but I think they're gonna get a different brown. They may not even get a brown. Maybe I would just keep them black. But I'll paint them brown now because I have it on the brush. All right. This is just me cleaning up some stuff just so that you could see the rat a little bit more. So if I paint some of these straps, all right. All right, so I can still see a little bit of wetness there, but it looks like the club is kind of dry. So with this club, I have nice big ridges and deep grooves, which is fantastic. And so what I'm going to do for this particular piece, I'm actually going to use, I'm going to roll my brush, and I'm going to use the side of the bristles. Right? I'm going to use the side of the bristles and I'm going to pass it like this. See how I pass it very lightly? It's going over the outer edges. So if I do that, I shouldn't get anything in the grooves itself. And I'm going to go with the grain. So I'm just going to use the side of the brush and go on the side of the grain. And what this will do is it'll kind of because it's pure mahogany, it's going to deepen those grooves because the grooves have a little bit of darker brown in it. And if I use the side of the brush, I shouldn't go into the grooves. If you're going into the grooves, it means you're jamming the brush into the miniature, and you don't want to do that. Just use the side of the bristles. I don't know if I'm showing that. And go with those grains, go with the grooves. And you may not be able to see it on camera, but you should be able to see that mahogany and those deep grooves with the black. Thank you for that lurk, Demon Speed. There we go. Now, I don't know if you could tell the difference between that club and that dark brown, but this one has a little bit more blending going on, or it's a softer tone. I can't really explain it, but there is a difference. When I look at it, I could see the color difference. Hopefully you could see it on here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Because this is a flat surface and I got rope in the way, I'm just going to kind of do each panel. I'm not doing like all over. It's okay if I get stuff on the rope because that'll be a different color eventually. Just using the side of the bristles. You want to keep those deep grooves dark. Oops, I got some on his fur, but we haven't done anything there, so. All right, there we go. So I'm going to take 2 mahogany and I'm going to take 1 yellow ochre. And I'm going to create a brighter version of that brown. It's got a little yellow ochre in it. And I'm going to use the side of the brush again. But when I do it this time, I'm going to probably stay away from the hand and just kind of come this way. And I'm going to use the side of the brush again, and I'm going to just kind of bring that lighter brown into existence. But I'm not doing the whole thing. I'm just kind of doing, like right here where this branch is, it goes in. So I may start over here and work out, leaving that darker towards that area. I'm just painting what I can see. I'll do the same thing, stay away from the hand. And eventually you have a darker version of this club. Maybe it's kind of where he wore it away from using it so much. And I will do inside right here. And I'll do the edge here. I still want the darkness around that spiral in there. Take this color and I'll do the same thing. And when I do it here, I'm going to stay away from the ropes. I'll stay away from the ropes. That means I have to kind of be careful. If you're close to the ropes, it's fine. I'm just trying to give it a little space so that when we do the ropes, you get to see them. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow ochre to that mixture. And yes, you guessed it. I'm going to roll, use the side of the brush, and this time come out just a little bit farther. Because if it's uniform, it doesn't look organic, and this club should look a little organic. You want to do around the edge? I'll do just about right there. Do the back side. Do the edges right here. And do the inside circle here. So I'm just going to kind of do that where that swirl is. It's good to me. And do the same thing over here, staying close to the edge. Notice I'm not dry brushing, I'm using the side of the brush and just kind of working my way outward. Do the same thing over here. So it looks like brown. So we're gonna make it look like a little bit of wood. So we're gonna add some ivory. Not a lot of ivory because that will severely change the shades. So we wanna just do it little by little. This looks like a good color. So no more yellow, no more ivory, or excuse me, mahogany. We're gonna do ivory. And I'm just gonna kind of hit the edge out here. And if you hit it somewhere where it doesn't belong, remember it's organic. You can't make a mistake doing the wood color. So if you accidentally hit underneath, or you get close to his hand. It's all fine. You just want to give it a little bit of texture where it needs the texture. There we go. And we'll do this in here again. The inside's going to be nice and bright, but you just have to figure out where you like your grains to be lighter. Sorry for that slow response, but I was just looking to see how I wanted to work this out. All right. Use the side of the brush, and I'm just gonna hit the tips up here. This is probably gonna be my final highlight for this guy right here. So I'm just gonna hit tips. I will hit some tips down here. I might go a little bit brighter down here, I'm not sure. And I will do very small amount of highlight in the middle here. There we go. Now we're going to take some of this ivory and we're going to put it in this mixture again. And we're going to make something a little bit brighter. And this time I'm just going to kind of hit some of the high spots. So like kind of right about here. Right here. This is all just kind of random spots, kind of where you think the highest points are. Right here on the tips. Maybe the top here. Back here. Maybe right here. Looks like a good spot. Go. Maybe I'll do that there. And I might actually go here and do these a little bit brighter. A little edge highlight on this broken piece there. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now, using my ivory, I am going to pinpoint little highlights. So like pretty much on the tips of things and on, whoops. And I know what this looks like. It's like, oh, that's way too bright. What are you doing? Well, that's how we're gonna bring it back with the glaze, a filtering glaze. So I just want some bright spots here so that when we do that filtering glaze, we still have some highlights. This edge highlight over here. Oops. There we go. All right. So we have all this nice filtering glaze that we're gonna do. And I'm gonna just go back to a 1-to-1 mix of the mahogany and the yellow ochre. And some ivory. And now I have to make that glaze, so give me a moment. Mahogany, yellow ochre, ivory, water. Let's see how our glaze does. A little bit more water. All right, I like that glaze. I don't know if that's the right color, but it's got all of the stuff we have in it. We have the mahogany, we have the yellow, we have the ivory. And when I do this, gotta grab my paper towel. When I do this, I get the point back and I just glaze over everything. Oops. Hold on. I'm just gonna glaze over everything. See, I got too much moisture in there. I don't want it to go into those recesses. Because the only thing that you should see is all of the brightness kind of being brought down a level. But you should still get the darkness inside the wood. If we did this correctly. And what happens is it softens everything down. It blends everything together. So that you don't have these bright white spots. And if you still get the white spots, you can do more glazing, or you can just kind of, you can paint right over it. So all I'm doing is the filtering glaze, which is just me painting on the glaze. I'm not washing it. I'm just painting on this glaze. And eventually everything will come back. If it doesn't, then you've actually painted on. But it's starting to come back, starting to pull in together. I didn't think the color I used was fantastic, but I guess it was. All right, so we have to let all that dry. But I do want to get in here. So that's going to be some ivory and some yellow ochre. Looks like 3 ivories and a yellow ochre. And I'm going to just kind of get right in there. And then we're going to paint that swirl more ivory. So we'll take a little bit of that ivory color and we'll add 2 more ivories in there. Make it very pale. And this, you just want to paint the spiral. So I want to keep the grooves as dark as I can. This paint might be a little too wet for me to actually do this, but I'm just painting in the swirl. We'll have to come back. So I messed up a highlight here, it looks like. Looks like I painted in my grooves, so I'm just gonna paint my grooves back in. There we go. All right. Oh, it's almost 11, so we're last thing I'm going to do is the dark silver, and then we'll come back to him next Thursday. But there's our rat so far. We're going to probably end up doing this green down here and dark silver, so I'll spend time doing that now. I do have to get some green on my palette. Hopefully that wasn't okay. Take our nice large brush for the dark silver, and I'm just going to paint all of the metal silver really quick. We're using metallic paint this time. I'm not going to do non-metallic metal at the moment. You don't always have to do non-metallic metal. if I was doing this for a competition or a diorama, or if somebody asked me to do non-metallic metal as a commission, then I would certainly do that and try it. But why not just save some time? And if you do it correctly, you can make metallic paint pretty effective. And non-metallic metal is more for taking photos and making sure that you're getting the right amount of lighting, because it's matte. You don't get that with the metallic paint, so it kind of distorts some of the lighting here and there. So, but because I don't really care about lighting at the moment, we're going to go ahead with the metallic paint. There's nothing wrong with doing non-metallic metal. I absolutely keep trying it because I want to learn more about it. But it is time consuming, and everybody knows that I love to glaze, so it does help my blending when I keep trying it. And there's nothing saying you can't paint a piece with metallic paint, look how it shines, and try to mimic that with other paint. There we go. Like when you look at it, this metallic paint like this, you can definitely see where it's highlighted and where it's shadowed. And you can totally get that. Like, whoops. What did I just touch? I touched something and I don't know what I touched, but I'm sure I'll find out where silver paint ended up going. But like when you look at this here, you can start to see here's some like very bright grays right here. Here's some middle grays in here. You know, here's black down here. That's what they paint. So once you look at it this way, you get the light, right? If you look at it this way, here's your light. So painting non-metallic or painting with metallic paints is useful. Question is, can you paint over metallic paints to get your non-metallic metal? It's one thing I haven't tried yet. But you got to make sure that that piece is pretty stable when you're doing it. But it would be interesting, right? Just paint the black where the black shadows are, and you kind of paint bright gray where the gray is, and then you keep varying your grays to dark and light, and then knowing where the brightest spot is to do your whites. Drawback with metallic metals is you should have a different cup to rinse out your metallics. Because if you start using the same wash cup, you're going to get metallic flakes in your actual brush and paint. But like everything, even though it's simple, does require some carefulness. I think that's the word I want to use. Get some on his tail here. And if I do all this now, then I know where the colors will go. And then I'll have to write the recipes we used for today's lesson. Not lesson, but today's paint along, so I know what I did. So when I come back next Thursday, I don't have to say, is this the color I used? Is this the color I mixed? That's why there are certain colors that I will, or certain parts that I will almost get done to completion, like the wood grain and stuff. I wanted to do that to make sure that it looks like wood and I don't have to tweak anything. But when it comes to the silvers and the pink tail and stuff, I try to get the base colors on first. And then I will go back and I will start shading and highlighting and making things kind of blend together. So I've noticed that for me, there are certain textures that I like to kind of get done. And so if anything goes on that wood grain or that wood club, I could be sunk.
Hello there.
So I will have to make sure that nothing gets on there. Hey, cutie, what's going on? Welcome into the paint along stream. I'm almost done, but not yet. I'll give you a quick shout out. Anybody that's not following Cutie Patootie, please go give Cutie Patootie a follow. Fantastic streamer and making worlds of success in the miniature painting community. So please give her a follow, as I have done. She is one of my inspiration folks. How are you doing tonight, cutie? What's going on? How's your Thursday going? All right. So we decided to finish up tonight's paint along with painting all of the silver, and then we're going to paint his skirt green. And so this is the giant rat from Kawna Minis. I don't know if I put the link. I'm getting messy now. I don't know if I put the link for this in the Twitch stream yet, but I will make sure that I do that for the next time. But it is in the Discord, so you can either buy it from a website or you can buy the STL and have somebody print it for you. This is one of the people I met at Reapercon. I don't know if you got a chance to go see the Adventure Cats booth, but I got to meet her and trying to promote her little game and figures as much as I can. My sister's in the Mormon Tabernacle Choir and invited my mom to come sing with them, and so I wanted to go watch the rehearsal. It was awesome. Awesome. I love the cat shop. So many fun cats. I know, right? The one cat that I kind of wanted, but I have to buy a whole box to get him, is the Necromancer. I love that cat. All right. Looking around, making sure I have no more metal. Things are looking pretty good. All right, let's get some green on that little skirt, and then we will call it for this evening, but we will not call it completely for the month of November. We will revisit him on next Thursday on the 14th. And then I'm going to also do a paint along on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving for me. So we'll be back on this on the 21st of November. And then we'll go back to our regular Thursday on the 30th, the last day of the month. And the last official paint along for 2023, and then we'll work on some new stuff in 2024. I just have to figure out what new stuff I want to focus on. I'm gonna have to go find all of those 3D sculptors and get a miniature from them so that we can start supporting that side of the hobby. And once again, as I said, I know that I messed up on what miniature I kept broadcasting last week, but the color palette's exactly the same. So it's really the color palette that is the necessity for the paint-alongs, not so much the miniature itself, but sometimes I'll talk about pieces of the miniature that you may not have on yours. So it's very hard for me to, you know, take into account all of the rat miniatures out there. But some of you might have mouselings from Reaper. You can do them kind of the same way. Gaticon sounds fun. I've never been, so I don't know. Muse's Touch is the one that's always been there. And I got asked to teach, so that's, I mean, that's what I kind of want to do. I think that's where my hobby direction is going. I'm not, you know, I don't know everything there is to know about miniature painting. I've a lot to learn, but I've also know a lot that I can teach stuff. All right, let me see if I can paint once again. So we're gonna add a little bit of ivory to our light yellow mixture here. And I'm gonna get into that spiral. I know I said that we were only gonna paint the green and silver, but come on, folks. We wanna see some of this green inside this wood club. Plus, we want the wood club to be done, right? We gotta do at least one thing on the miniature. So you can't really tell that it's lighter, but as I keep going and then we'll glaze it down, it'll look more like pine, like it's fresh pine. But there he is so far. So we got some. So next week maybe we'll do the ropes. We'll get some of those done. We'll do a little bit more of the fur. I think the fur is just going to be that thing that we keep doing throughout as we go. I'm probably going to do another layer of that pink on this tail and feet because they don't totally look like it covered well. So I'll probably do that off stream for next week. So if this is fine for you, then don't worry about it. But he's ready to go on the table now for people that want to play with him. But yeah, so there he is. I mean, I could sit here and keep working on him, but I think we're going to end the stream. And I'm going to end the stream without a raid tonight because I have a lot of stuff I have to get done for tomorrow. So let me stop the music. Show him off once more. So you can start to see some of those textures, that fur that's in there. And we will keep creating fur texture on these open spots. And wherever there's nice dark fur, that's where we're going to do our darker version of our fur, our texture fur. And whenever there's light, we'll do lighter versions of our texture fur. So we'll work more on the fur, we'll work on the ropes, and then maybe we'll get some bands going, but maybe we'll work on the tail a little bit. So I don't know. It's something. So if you haven't already visited, if you haven't already visited Kawna Minis to get your STL of the BugBear rat, I will put this up here so that for just a second, so that you can scan that. I will also put on the screen, if I can do it, in one hand. All right. So there's Kawna Miniatures, or Kawna Minis. She does do adventure cats. If you go to the store and you scroll down, she has all of these awesome pieces. There is, I'll click on that. There is what I thought we were going to paint, but we're not painting her. We are painting, where is he? This dude. Look at that dude. So for just the look, it's a $5 BugBear rat, giant rat. $5, you get the STL. And let me tell you something, folks. If you get this STL, it is pre-supported and it prints out very well. It's like easy peasy. Although I don't get this base. I don't know where the base came from, but all you're getting is this right here. So I put them up. Whoops. Stop showing off the web stuff. I put it on a round base. It does interfere with some of the stuff, so I will take it off this just so I can get at certain things. The Discord link on that is invalid, but I can get to the website. It should be this one. Let me go look at the Discord site. First of all, it's not the Cat Barbarian. It's the Bugbear rat, giant rat, right? Whoa, what's going on there? Oh my god, I cannot spell. Alright, so we'll save that. Now you're saying that it's not valid on the Discord site. So to print, are you talking about the Etsy page? Not seeing the discount, however. What discount? Is there a discount? Are you talking the Etsy page or are you talking the Kawna Mini page? Oh, you can't get to the Discord. Literally no idea at this point. All right. So the Discord. I think this is the Discord site. And the Etsy page. The Etsy page for $7.95, you can get the 3D printed version. They will 3D print it and send it to you. So you want the 32 millimeter tall one, not 75. Although some people might want the 75. Whoops. But this is where you can buy it from. And then if I go over to, no, hold on. Hold on. What am I doing? Oh. If I go over here, this should take me to Kawna Minis. So this is Kawna Minis page. So Kawna Minis, and this is the Etsy page. So I would try it again. I was trying to find the BugBear Mini, and I thought you said it was $5. It is. Close. It is right here. That's the STL one. So you have to get the STL. The STL is $5, and then you print it. If you want the actual printed mini, then this Etsy page will print it for you for $7.95. So you're spending $3 to have it printed. You're spending $5 for the STL and then $3 to have it printed. Can I link the Etsy page? Yep. Trying to get into oils, but I want to paint this with you. Okay. All right, so that takes care of that. We'll stop showing off web things. So there's where it's at right now. honestly, you don't have to do the texturing fur if you don't want to. It's something that I'm playing with. I'm going to try to do it as best I can. But yeah, so today we just kind of base coated them and played with a little bit of texture. But the wood is, I think is going to kind of be done. And you can see how that filtering glaze took away the brightness of the ivory, but it still kept everything. It just toned everything down. So it's there. You could totally see the highlights, but just toned down. All right. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping in tonight and painting along if that's what you're doing, or if you're hobbying in the background and waiting for the videos to unleash before you start on your giant rat of any type. That's great. And like I said, this is the last. It's good to see you too, cutie. It really is. This is the last paint along month for 2023. I will be off in December, but that doesn't mean I won't be guest appearing on other streams. So just keep a lookout for that. Keep me on follow and watch for those notifications wherever I may turn up in a dual stream. We'll be back in January at some point. That gives me the holiday season to get my stuff all together, rearrange some stuff, get some stuff back on the Twitch streams so that you're not, so that there's something new, because that was the whole idea of doing this, is I put something new every time on the stream so you guys keep coming back. And I haven't done that, but we're going to keep on doing that. And next year, these paint-alongs, I'm going to try to involve more 3D sculptors like Hackett/Slash Minis, Moonlight Minis. There's a lot of awesome streamers out there that or awesome 3D sculptors out there that do awesome work. So we'll do that. Yes, the Moonlight Minis. I just got my halfling set in the mail yesterday, as a matter of fact. So I got Cheddar, Brie, and Metza, and all the halflings with cheeses names. It's totally awesome. We'll be back on Tuesday. This coming Tuesday, we're going to do more with the pirate for Captain Con, and we will also be working on. Well, it might just be her, but I'm sure we'll find something else to work on. I am not in any drought of unfinished painted miniatures, but anyway. With that, like I said, I'm not raiding tonight. I have a lot of stuff I gotta get done. So I will tell you who is on in case anybody wants to know. But I have to actually get out of Dodge. So I hate raiding and running, so I won't do it. But if you're looking for some oil painting, Wapelius is on. Wappellious. Catmaster, if you're looking for some energy or some fun antics, Catmaster is on. Capmastor. Darling Creepshow, she's always a delight to be around. She's doing some stuff. Good Enough Painting, Barely Battle Ready is on. There's a lot of painters on tonight. Wow. Demon Speed 13 is on. You know what? Maybe we'll just go right into Demon Speed 13 because he's been lurking in the channel, and I haven't been able to do Demon Speed in a while. He's slinging some paint, so I think that's where we're going to end up going. We got Hobby with Tim, Still As He is on. Vet with a Brush is on. And I think that's it. And then there's a bunch of game players that I have on. So let's go over to see Demon Speed. And I'll just let him know I got to run. But this way, everybody likes to raid. So I'll do that now. So give me a second while I fix this up. And then he can lurk himself because he's lurking me, so I'm just going to raid into him. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stepping in, and we'll see you on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Keep on painting and keep on challenging yourself. Good night, everybody.
You'll be all right. Jared just saw it. Yo, Tip with the raid.